What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. This is your go-to guide DXYZ, and in this video I'll be showing you how I created this racing game in Astrocade Timelapse Style. So let's get started. So let's get this Speedway Sprint OB on the way. For this game, we're going to be creating a racing style design, and first things first is the background theme, which is going to be on 3D, pixel art style, and the theme will be a speedway. While waiting, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Alright, so let's move on to this part here, which we're going to be starting on the right side. And starting point will be placed over here, I guess. Above here. Okay. So, the first thing the first thing I thought of is maybe starting, the checkered starting floor, something like that. But I went with this one first. And then, as I mentioned, I'm going to be making a racing track. So, I may need for you to change your perspective of how you would look this, because from my perspective, I'm going to be doing it like a top view. If you are watching Formula One racings, sometimes the camera angle goes into bird eye view. So that's what I'm going to do on this part. I'm going to be I need for you to change your perspective of how you look this in a bird's eye view. So later you will get the idea of what I've been saying. So let's start first by creating the racetrack. So what I've been doing here is really completely random. Don't have a guide to help me out here. Just this is purely of how I imagine what my race track will be. So I'm just repeating the same object to make the racetrack, as well as I'm gauging myself for the length of the racetrack, because this is an OB game, and once 2 minutes are up, it's over. The game is over. So I want the player to finish this with the exact time or more time for them to spare, so that they can still finish this game, because that's all about it. I want them to finish the game, not be tied up with 1 second apart from the finish line. And I'm gonna be putting some dashes here, dash abilities, because cars are really fast. So you have to incorporate the speed element here in this game, so that the player will still have a chance to navigate in this track to reach the finish area. So this is just going to be more of this for a few minutes, because this is going to be a simple game, just a simple racing game that I thought of. So I think that setting up the racetrack will be the first step on creating this one. And it's gonna be it's how I thought it would be for my game. And some others would just create like a platformer, something like that. But for me, I literally thought of this as a racing game. And I'm gonna be putting a pit stop here as well, where there is a checkpoint somewhere in this map. Later I'll be showing to you. And once you go over to the pit stop, it will grant you insane speed boosts then you can just checkpoint back to the last one that you crossed, and then you can move forward there really, really fast. Of course, there's going to be obstacles. It's not going to be a one-way run over here. It's going to be obstacles, so you will be challenged to avoid them as much as possible. And there's no damaging objects. There's no damaging objects that will deplete the player's life. This is just gonna be a pure jump run game here, emulating like you are in a car race. That's right, car race. All right, so I'm now almost finishing this racetrack, and as you can see, I went now back to the starting point because that's how our racetrack is. You will circle around the racetrack and you will go back to the starting point. And of course, this is just a one lap game, so I will be placing the flag here beneath the starting point. And I made sure that you will not be crossing over to get the finish line really in just 1 second. Alright, so the racetrack now is done. I'm now placing these blocks here. This is now the road. I do apologize if this is the road that I have selected. I couldn't really get a really smooth or clean grade block, so this will have to do. Now I'm making sure that my blocks here are layered properly so that it will not overlap the outer guidelines that I created earlier. Right. So carefully placing them so that it will be good enough to see for it to be a racetrack once this is finished. So this still has a long ways to go. Please do bear in mind. Now, how did I really? So the idea of this game that because when I saw this requirement, I thought to myself, if this is a speedway game, how can I make a racing game out of it? And literally the first thing that pops into my head is racing. Yeah, a racing game. So how? As I mentioned earlier, I want to make it a top-down, bird's-eye view. And I'm glad I do so, because I was really in a crunch of how to do this. So what the heck, I say. And it's a good thing that I did this because, well, I'm really proud of how I created this game here. It's something that nobody has not yet done on their games. So this is now gonna be, the middle part for like painted lines on the roads. So I'm trying to get the right design for it, and see, as you can see, I'm really struggling to get them, and I want them as wide as possible. So I got this one, and I just make 2 lines of it, and I didn't have any other choice. So this is where I went, and I did not put any of them all. I just selected a few area that I can place them here. Alright, so again, just bear with me. I know that this game is really simple and all, and the things here are repetitive enough, but that's usually how when you make games. It's sometimes really repetitive, it can be tedious at times, but you know, the end result is satisfying. Because when I play this, well, there were a few tweaks that I made. I didn't show it here on video because I wanted to show you how I placed it here, but the changes, well, I've done that off camera. Well, the changes were just layering fixes, because if the layers is not fixed properly, you won't see the character in front of you. It will be hidden on the objects, and that takes a bit of time. Alright, so I've now finished these now. Let's now start with the cars. So I'm going for like a top-down view of the cars, not like the side views. So just like this one. But let me just create first the cars in different colors. Because when you are watching, let's say NASCAR or Formula One, well, all those cars are in different colors. So I'm going to go into that approach as well. Red, green, and blue, and two of each color. You might notice that if you see those cars, they are only one color a piece. You need two. You can switch over to them. And take note, these are objects. These are solid objects. Meaning that you have to jump over them to progress to this game. I did not add like a flying ability or such. No. As I mentioned, this is going to be a pure jump and run game. Mostly jump, because the ground is uneven. It will prevent you from walking over them. So it's going to be lots of jumping. Right, so once I've completed those, I'm now placing the cars according to the direction. So I am changing or rotating them of how the direction of the game is. So you might be thinking there's a lot of cars here. Yes, because they are either a platform or an obstacle. So you can use them to jump like this vertical obstacle here. And when you're gonna go down, you have to avoid them. Flat or horizontal position, then you have to avoid them because they are now treated now as obstacles. Well, it would be cool if we can really race with them without having to jump, But it's easy because I did the testing of using flight ability, and you can go over the entire track under 1 minute. And it's easy because you can just simply avoid the cars here. So I don't want to go to that easy route as much as possible. I want it to be more challenging. Well, technically this is not really that challenging. If you got the right timings, you can avoid them and you can make more time and progress. I did add a bit of dashes here because if you stack dashes, the the control can be the player's control can be insane. Alright, so the cars now have been lined up. So on this part, this is going to be some of decorating part here. Like the archway, and this is the checkered flag. You know, the one that waves the flag when someone's not finished. Something like that. Okay, a podium here where he will stand. I'm trying to make the finish line floor. I'm having trouble getting the checkered ones, so I think I opted not to. And then this one is now for doing some crowds, you know, on the left side. Although it's seen on the background. And then these are the dashes. The dash ability. Just carefully distributed here, and that's the checkpoint that I was talking about. Okay, now let's make it like it's going wide or something. So I'm gonna put some grass here because I will be placing a cameraman here. Now for this one, it's going to be a pit stop, as I mentioned earlier. So let's create first the pit crew. And if you see there's a bit, it's already closed, meaning that either the player has to go back or going over this area. As I mentioned, I did place a checkpoint. So once the player has gotten the dash ability on this area, you just have to checkpoint back to the racetrack, but you will now be boosted with insane speeds. Okay, so I'm almost finished here. The garage. Right. Now to place the dash ability. Enlarging it like a car. And this is stacked 3 times. Now for the end design. There's a couple of banners of different types. Make it more like you really you reach the finish line in time. One of each side, and different flag is going to be generated. So this will be done repeatedly until it reaches to the end goal. I did plan to make it everywhere, but it's gonna take too much time. And the reason for this is because it's near the end. Okay, so just extending it all over here. Okay. Lastly now is gonna be confetti for props. I didn't want to give it away, so I want to move it somewhere here so they won't be seen on the starting. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to and this is now how it looks like the racetrack. If I say so myself. Now, shall we see a gameplay? So I'm just going to jump over these cars here as if you're really racing with them. Okay. And that dash ability. So like this one. So if you don't really control your jumps, you're just gonna fall off. Alright, that. See? I go into the pit stop, getting the dash and checkpoint counts. I got stuck there. Go back again. And that's it. So I hope that you enjoyed watching the video and had a grand time of it. As always, thank you very much for watching. This is your go-to guide DXYZ, and I'll see you on the next one.